So with that, let's start our meeting for today. We are, I think first, John, you would like to give the details, right? Okay,
Yes.
and then I
Yes.
can start.
Yep. Good evening. Welcome. If it's your first time joining us, you notice that you're all muted and remain muted throughout the meeting, except for the co-chairs. As we move through the agenda, following the presentations and through the agenda, the co-chairs will call on members of the public wishing to speak. We can go with participant. You can press participant raise hand feature below in order to participate, not the wave or thumbs up feature, as those just appear. Only press the raise hand feature once. If you press a second time, we'll go back down. If you're calling your phone, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute yourself. Be on the lookout for a prompt asking to confirm unmuting once the co-chair is calling you. The chat is available to tech support only and to help with Zoom software problems, and not to ask questions to co-chairs as they will not see the chat. If you are using an older version of Zoom, please go to the React participants menu, or press the More button where you can find the raise hand feature there below. If you plan to speak during the meeting, please make sure to rename yourself with your first and last name so we may know for our record. Please do not raise your actual hand or wave at the screen, as we may be able to see you and chat with tech support.
Thank you so much, John. With that, I want to start this meeting. My co-chair Addison and we are very excited to hear Christine Yu and Marissa on two very important topics that impact our daily lives. So Kristen Chavez of Beyond Plastic would be presenting on the New York State proposed bill A1749 on the Packaging Reduction and Recycling Infrastructure Act, followed by Marissa Yanni from DSNY on containerization. So with that, Kristen, I would let you start and open the floor to this.
Great. Thank you so much for having me tonight. My name is Kristen Chavez, and as mentioned, I am part of Beyond Plastics Speaker Bureau. So Beyond Plastics, for those of you who are not familiar, is a nonprofit organization established in 2019 with the big ambitious goal of ending plastic pollution everywhere. We do this through over 160 affiliate groups across the United States that kind of do grassroots campaigning to enact change in their communities at the local and the state level. So what I'll talk to you today about is the bill that I've been working on with Beyond Plastics for over 2 years now. So let me see if I can share my screen. I'm not, okay, here we go.
You should be able to.
Here we go. Perfect. Let me just put this into presentation mode and we will get started. Just can everyone see?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, so I think Harvey Epstein says it well. Our city is in a crisis of plastic pollution, and this is largely due to the overproduction and the overconsumption of plastic that we've seen really over the last 20 years. And one of the things as I got more involved with this that I learned, and I go out and I speak about it because I feel that so many well-intentioned people have no idea, one, about the extent of the problem, and two, about the implications that we see from this overproduction of plastic. But one thing I learned was that plastics are made from fossil fuels and chemicals, and I think not everybody realizes that, but most of the plastic in the US today is made from fracking, which is an environmentally disastrous process that pollutes. It's a super polluter just to make plastic. But plastic also contains over 16,000 chemicals. And most of these chemicals are not monitored by any organization. So we know that 4,000 of them are toxic or carcinogens. But it makes it even more problematic because we have so much plastic in the world today. Our population has increased by threefold since 1950, but plastic production has gone 200-fold. And the big problem is that plastics are really hard to recycle. They're made from chemicals, so they were never really intended to be recycled. And it's also more expensive to recycle them than to produce virgin plastic. Because there are so many different types of plastic, it's almost impossible to really do it. You see the numbers on your recycling, only 1 and 2 are really have any secondary market. And nearly half of all plastic that's produced is for single-use packaging, which has a shelf life of minutes. Instead of like being reused, most of plastic packaging ends up being thrown away. And like I said, recycling plastic is a bit of a myth, and as a result, only less than 6% of it is recycled in the U.S. today. So where does it go? Most plastic, 79% of it, is still with us today, that's ever been produced. And where it ends up is either in a landfill, mostly, or in the environment. And so, 15 million tons enter oceans every year. That is, there are 5 great garbage patches. The biggest one, the Pacific, is 2 times the size the state of Texas. And it's the equivalent of dumping 2 garbage trucks of plastic into the ocean every single minute. And so this is problematic because plastics don't break down, they break up into smaller pieces. And so we've all heard a lot recently about microplastics in our food, in our bodies, etc. But there is no place on Earth where microplastics has not been found. And when plastics get small, like too small for the human eye, they can actually enter our bloodstream. And there's a whole slew of health implications and health costs that are associated with the amount of plastic that we have in our bodies today. It's everything from endocrine disruptors to impacting, cancer, etc. So there are many, many health implications of all this plastic. And what does this mean for New York City? So we spend $500 million a year on exporting our waste and trash, and plastics and packaging make up a good portion of it, 40%. And the whole process of even moving it out of the city emits a lot of emissions from the garbage trucks, et cetera. So it's an expensive process, and there's a lot of it. The other place that plastic goes, if it doesn't end up in a landfill or in the environment, is to an incinerator. And so New York State has the designation of being #1 for having the most incinerators of any state in the nation. And most of these, 7 out of 10 of them, are located in environmental justice communities. So plastic kind of disproportionately affects the environmental justice communities, both in the way it's produced and the way it's disposed. And so these communities face higher rates of cancer, children have higher rates of asthma, low birth rates, reproductive issues in general are all side effects of the pollution that happens when you burn plastic due to the amount of toxic chemicals that are in it. But the good news is that we have a very strong EPR bill that has passed the Senate 2 years in a row, has gone to the floor, but did not go for a vote in the Assembly. And it's called the Packaging Reduction and Recycling Infrastructure Act, also known as PREA. Senator Harckham and Assemblymember Glick are the sponsors on the bill. But basically, it's an extended producer responsibility bill. It would be the strongest one in the nation if and when it passes. It does a couple of really significant things. One, it mandates reducing plastic packaging so that less of it will be, produced. The remaining packaging has to be recycled or reused. There's a big reuse component in it, which is also super important in tackling the problem. It makes companies pay to help, take care of the waste. Right now, taxpayers carry that burden. And it reduces the toxic chemicals. There are 17 chemicals that it will remove from plastic packaging. So just to go through each of these real quick, any company over 5 million in sales or that creates more than 2 tons of packaging has to adhere to this. So they would be responsible for reducing their packaging by 30%, reducing secondary packaging, which is when you have multiple packages kind of tethered together. And then, as mentioned before, the remaining 75% of the packaging would have to be reused or recycled over time. It also saves a significant amount of money. And so if we look at the impact that we think it will have is over $1 billion in the first 10 years for the state, with the majority of that really going to New York City. So $818 million over 10 years in savings. And one of the big objections is that the lobbyists are saying, oh, it's going to make it more expensive for consumers, which is not true. Packaging makes up less than 2% of the cost of any item. So this is not going to raise the cost of anything we buy. In fact, it'll do the opposite. It will generate revenue and make the companies that produce all the plastic have to help us pay to take care of it. These are the 17 chemicals that it will remove from packaging. And so it's a little bit scary that a lot of our food is packaged today, like most of it, in plastic. And often it says safe to microwave, which is safe for the plastic, but not at all for the food. So this is a really important part of the bill, that it will remove these chemicals. And it will also, have a stronger definition for recycling. So the chemical recycling that you saw the picture of earlier, where you basically heat the plastic up again and you melt it and you add more chemicals to it, it's not really recycling, and it would not count toward the goal of recycling. So this would drive producers to use recyclable materials like metal or glass or paper instead of using plastic. There are a few exemptions. So if you're a small company with less than 5 million in sales, if you're an agricultural or farming type of company, family-run business, some medical, there are laws that cover paint, and there are also laws that cover beverages. So there is a sister bill to this PREA bill, which is called the Bigger, Better Bottle Bill, which will be an update of our current bottle bill that we have that encourages returning beverage containers for a deposit and incentivizing recycling. So this bill has significant support. A recent poll, 73% of New Yorkers support it. 80% of New Yorkers think plastic pollution is a problem. There are numerous environmental justice groups. There are over 300 organizations that have signed our memo of support. I'm personally involved in the Metro New York Catholic Climate Movement, which is 22 parishes in the New York City area. I've presented to many of them. They have signed our memorandum of support, but a lot of different faith leaders across many religions are also in support of it, as is City Council, the mayor, and many counties and towns have also signed memos of support. And Harvey Epstein, who is about to be sworn in as City Council, but he happens to be my assembly member. Currently, he wrote a wonderful editorial about the Packaging Reduction Recycling Infrastructure Act just in September. But he kind of sums it up by saying how much support this bill has. It's cross parties, 80% of Democrats, the majority of independents and Republicans. And, the message is clear. I think he says it well. New Yorkers want bold action to tackle the plastic waste, and they want it now. So our ask of Community Board 8 is that you would sign a resolution of support for the PREA bill. All of your assembly members and senators are co-sponsors of the bill, so they are all supportive, but we face tremendous lobbying from the industry, both from the petrochemical and companies that produce plastic waste like Coca-Cola and Amazon. So it's super important that we let our legislators know that the people in their districts are really supportive of this bill. So I can click on the resolution, but I can send you a copy of it. I know you've passed some others recently as well, but I will pause there, and I'd be happy to take any questions that you have. I really, really appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit more about this important legislation today.
Thank you so much. This was really amazing. it was a very impressive presentation, and it really impacts, our lives. So let's see if we have any questions for you. John, can you help me with that, please? If you see any hands up, otherwise I actually have a few questions too. Maybe I'll start, right, John? Do we see any?
No, I don't see any hands up currently.
Not at the moment, right? So I actually have a few questions, and then Kristen, maybe others would have more. One was the question that what I understood was it's also important that plastic is recycled, and I'm assuming you're talking about corporations and like agencies like those doing it. But what about individuals like us playing a role? Like if we use the plastic boxes, that sometimes the food containers that the food comes in, if we use it again, is that cancerous? Is that bad? Because that would be one way of reducing. Like if we use it just once, then of course we need more plastic, right? But if we use it multiple times, then it can be beneficial. But we've heard that that's cancerous. So is that true? Or
So,
plastic bottles, like for
yeah,
instance, can they be used again and again?
I mean, you will have like 10 plus X times the amount of microplastics in a bottle of plastic water versus tap water. That said, there are a couple of drivers that accelerate the release of chemicals into food from plastic. One is heat. So if you're using plastic, but you're reusing it in the refrigerator, that's probably fine because it's cold. The second is like if it's a fatty type of food that you put in it, that will also leak the chemicals into the food that are in the plastic. Or if you're covering it like very, very tightly, like it's a ratio of coverage to so if you've got like a big amount, like a big dish, but it's not touching every part of the food, it's probably fine as well. So, the big one is heat though, like just never reuse and reheat or keep your plastic water bottle in the sun or in a warm place.
Mm, wow. Well, quite, so much food is like microwave nowadays. So that is one basic way. Like that sounds really like it's tough. Does anyone else have any question for Kristen? Otherwise, I have a couple of more questions. So if any one of you have a question, please raise your hand icon, or you can do a physical one as well. Either or would work. So Kristen, the other question that I had was that you in your presentation mentioned that New York City's savings would be $818 million dollars. How will this money be saved? Is this like that amount you mean save for that, for people like us who are giving taxes, and that this would be transferred to corporations like Amazon and others? Or is there some other way that you mean that it's like kind of that amount is saved for everyone?
There's two ways. One is that presumably as the plastic is reduced, it'll be replaced with other materials that are less expensive to recycle. So metal is your best material. Like it by far, it can be recycled over and over and over again. It is by far the best. So it will reduce the amount. That's one way. The second is that because it's an extended producer responsibility bill, it will require the companies that produce these packaging to pay money to help going toward taking care of the waste. So we don't have a revenue stream right now. Right now, it's the companies actually put the burden back on the public saying, well, if people threw it out, it wouldn't be all over the place. But again, I go back to the overproduction and the overconsumption of it to begin with. It's an unsustainable like amount that we're creating. But those are really the two ways that those dollars will be recognized.
Got it. Got it. Sounds good. So with that, I think I don't have any more questions. If anyone else have any, otherwise, I'm going to request our next speaker. So if anyone has questions that they think of later in the evening, Kristen, I'm sure you would take that question and answer, right? So, I think Addison has a question. Please go ahead, Addison. I think he would need to be
Yep.
unmuted. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have to do the resolution now before we move on to the next agenda item.
Oh, okay. Shall we do that? All right. Do you want to go ahead, Addison, and propose a resolution? We do have a few board members present, so I think it would be great. We can take a vote.
Yeah, sure. So we'll put in the whereas clauses at the end, but basically just we'll say CB8 supports the Packaging Reduction and Recycling Infrastructure Act. We look forward to the Assembly's speedy passage of the bill and call on the governor to sign it into law if passed by the Assembly.
Kristen,
So
does that
that's the
work for you?
motion.
That works. I also have a link to a drafted one. If you want me to pull that up, you can use that either way, but thank you.
Sure. So do you want to send it in the chat? Kristen, do you want to share it in the chat with us? Or you can share it with John and he can share it with us.
I have an updated version, I think, here.
If it's just the language, we can massage it with you. I mean, when you send it to us, we can use a part of that, Addison and I. Or is there more in content that you want to change?
Let me just pull it up real quick here.
So I think what we can do, Kristen, is we can read your resolution and we can use the language from that in ours. But it would probably be the similar, right? Like with similar content. So we'll go ahead with this one.
I'm going to throw it in the chat. It's not going to be in document. Oh, it's disabled for me. I can't.
I can post it in the chat. I'm doing that right now. That's okay.
Okay.
Sahar, is that okay with you? Or
Perfect.
I kind of lost you guys. Oh no. Give me a second, please. Are you guys there? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, I kind of lost you guys in my multiple. So sorry. I think let's go ahead with the resolution that Addison has proposed, and we will use Christian's language in it. Addison, do you want to lead on this one while I somehow have lost my page?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Please, can you do that for me?
Yep. So we'll use the one that I proposed just as a just so that we sort of have our own language and our own spin on the issue. So do we have a second for that resolution? Bradley or John, do you second the resolution? All right, we have a second from Bradley. All right, so I can't make the motion to call the question because I made the resolution. So do we have a motion to call the question?
John, do you want to do that? Okay, Brad
John
has
can't
done
do
that.
that. Brad can do that.
Brad did that.
Awesome. And then do we have a second for that?
I can also second it, right?
Okay, yeah, you can second it. All
So
right,
I'm
so we'll
seconding
take
it.
Yeah. So we'll take a vote. If anyone is voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining, please raise your hand now. All right, seeing none, the resolution will pass.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Not at all. Yeah. I'm happy to support this great cause. So I think with that, let's just now I'll request Marissa Yanni from DSNY to speak and give us details about containerization, especially in the CB8 area.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Just wanted to be sure. Hi, good evening, everyone. Marissa Yanni from the Community Affairs Liaison with the Department of Sanitation. Just to talk a little bit about residential containerization. Please let me know if my audio goes out, because I've just been told my low system resources. Don't know what that means on this computer. So currently we have residential containerization for buildings 1 to 9 residential units. That means that if you have a building with 1 to 9 units, you must containerize your trash using a bin with a fitted lid. You don't need to use yet our NYC official bins. You will have to use that starting June 1st, 2026. So we are asking folks to make sure you order your bin on bins.nyc. Currently, they were having a couple of technical issues, so maybe just give them a couple of more days to figure that out. They were having some issues with their website, which is understandable, of course. Now, of course, I think what you really want to talk about is the actual bins, the Empire bins that are on our streets. So as of right now, we do not have any plans to expand that program. Currently, Community Board 9 in Manhattan, they're a part of our pilot program. They're a part of our 10-block pilot program. They currently have Empire bins. We are expanding to Brooklyn Community Board 2 starting 2026. And then from there, we're not expanding right now. The goal, well, at least through the law, is to be expanded by 2032. So for all of New York City, we'll be done by 2032. But we're kind of moving slow and steady. We just want to make sure things are going well with that. I sit right next to folks that are working in that unit, and there is a lot that goes into this and figuring out where a bin would go on each block and what we need to figure out. But at the moment, Community Board 8 does not need to worry about Empire bins. You will not have them near you in the next few years. You have some time to go.
Marissa, just for for everyone, and thank you so much for giving us these details, but just so that everyone on this call understand, what are those Empire, bins?
Oh,
if you could
sorry.
just kind of, so everyone is up to speed on that.
Okay, so Empire bins are the large, they call them the European style, Spanish style bins that go in parking spots, go in actual parking spots on the city, in the street. They're large bins that are opened through, it's like a key fob. It's like a little key that you have that superintendents or property owners will have to open it up, and then DSMY has our own as well. And all the garbage as well as recycling material can go inside these bins. So there's no bags of garbage in front of your home. There's none curbside. They're kind of big. The picture that was just put in the chat is, the Empire bin is somewhere. Oh yes, you can see it. So thank you, John. That is the Empire bin. It's this big gray bin that goes on the street. And then the other picture is of the bin you would get if you're not in CB9 or in BK2. You would get that for your 1 to 9 residential unit building.
Got it. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Then please raise your, again, your hand icon, and you can ask Marissa directly. Otherwise, I do have one question again. So I think, Marissa, I will ask, while if someone else has a question, they can raise their hand too. Marissa, so you said Community Board 9, right? That it's already in place over there. Where are they being located? Are there enough parking spots? Because what if there aren't enough? Because these are huge, right? So I mean, we're just visualizing how it would be in a area like ours, like Community Board 8, where we don't have the space. So will it be in parks that, are you setting them up in one, at the end of streets or something? I mean, when one building, I don't know, where would they go then?
So they will, so for the whole block, There's going to be several on the block.
Wow.
So you're going to lose parking. You're going to lose some parking. I will say, because my boss sent me over one little note about that. 1 second so I can read it. For M9, the feedback has been pretty positive. We have had more requests for additional buildings to participate in the program than anything else. Building staff no longer have to wait until 8 p.m. to set out the trash. They can do it anytime. Issues with the bins are solved pretty quickly, and parking was a concern before the bins were installed, but we rarely hear complaints about it now. So just give that tidbit. I wasn't working on this when the original rollout happened. I was in a different unit, but we have had very few negative feedback about parking. I get it. It's Manhattan. You want your parking. I'm in and out of borough. I don't know about this lifestyle, but I get it. You need your parking. It will be taking parking spots away. It 100% will be.
Oh.
And I think, of course, all community boards are different to me. They all look very different, all have a very different vibe. M9 does not look like M8. I would say your apartment buildings, I'm going to assume, let's agree, are much higher than, let's say, the majority of M9. A lot of M9, they have those beautiful brownstones in Harlem and in Morningside Heights, absolutely lovely. These are going to be, your buildings are way bigger. And you have some few pockets with kind of those smaller apartment houses and townhouses. So I totally get it. That will be an issue. We do have a team working on it and looking at every single block and noting every single fire hydrant, every single bus stop, every single drain, that gutter that's on in the street. So we're not just randomly placing these bins. I will say that. There's a lot of thought going into it, but you are correct. Your district looks way different than M9 and even BK2.
Right.
So I'm with you 100%. But I'll be out there with you when we put them down. So I'll let y'all make sure you know where they're going.
Thank you so much, Marissa. So we do have a question, but before I ask Gail to speak, I just had one small thing that, is it also possible for these to be used by two buildings? Just because, again, of the way we, like Community Board 8 is, less parking spots and many huge buildings, and then we have these townhouses in the middle, and then we have smaller buildings, which probably are 1 to 9 units. Is it possible also for two buildings to be, kind of being a partner on it and having and using it together? Is that a possibility or not?
I think it is.
Okay.
I don't know why I don't have that answer in front of me. Can they use more? I'm pretty sure they can.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they can. And again, thinking about like those smaller townhouses, like all those folks together, I'm pretty sure. I will double check, but I'm like 90% sure. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 90. I'm 90% sure. Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, Marissa, because that just saves space. So, and like sharing like helps. So I think with that, we have Gail, I think would like to ask you a question. Please, John, can we unmute her?
Yes.
Yeah, what you're talking about now is close to my question. For example, on my block, there are about 8 high-rise buildings. Will there be 8 bins at a minimum for these 8 buildings? And will they be placed in front of the building, or will they be placed spread apart?
So for high rises, I think definitely you're going to need one or more than one per building because it's just so much garbage. That's a huge amount of volume. So that is a good possibility. I think the goal is for it to be as much in front of your building as possible. Some high rises we know kind of have a bigger footprint just because they're much wider. Let's say they're very tall, but still pretty wide. So majority of it will be right in front of the building as well. But I think every block is really different. So I can't say for sure on this specific block where these bins are going to actually go just because we didn't get to M8 yet. Right. So that I can't really answer.
I'm imagining, 2 bins, a parking space, 2 bins, a parking space, I hope. It would be a travesty to see all the parking spaces on a block be eliminated.
Understood. I don't think it's going to be every single spot, but I think, yeah, it's going to be, you're going to lose a few parking spots without a doubt.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of course.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any question? Of course, like Marissa is here to speak about, especially about, for Community Board 8, but like, she's also giving us ideas about other areas in the city. So like if you have any questions at all about the containerization, please feel free to ask. I think with that, I also wanted to thank you so much, Marissa, for giving us this information. I think Gail has another question. Before I call on Gail again, so Marissa, you're saying for Community Board 8, it would be, if I'm not mistaken, you said, like, I know you said 2032 is where like you want to get all the boroughs and all the, community boards covered. But which year did you mention for our community board?
Oh, I have no
That's
idea.
not, okay, so that's not
Yeah,
there.
no, I was just saying you don't need to worry about it for a few years. We just did, we did Manhattan, we did Brooklyn. I don't know if we're going to try to do one in each borough first. I don't know what the next thought is going to be, because we're also doing schools in BK2, so that may take a little time. I think I don't want to give you even a fake fun number because I have no idea. It's not tomorrow. It's definitely not 2026. And let's say probably not 2027 because we just did M9. So
Okay.
let's go with that. I think you have a little bit of time before you have to worry about it in a good way, time to plan.
Right. So I think we have two questions. I will call on Gail first because her hand was up first, and then we'll go to Cinnober.
Thank you. Marissa, do you have the exact dimensions of the bin?
It is probably on our website. Sorry. I can look that up for you.
Please.
Give me 2 seconds because I think I know where it is. It's in collection. It's in containerization. It's in pilot. How big are these things? 1 second. Come on. Learn more about using Empire bins. Using it, they just we love to just mention how great they are. 1 second. I want to learn more about Empire bins. Yes. I bet you it's somewhere else, but we'll give you 1 more second. I just want to see.
Okay.
Because maybe. Or are we going to be very mysterious like we sometimes are?
Oh, like more often than not.
Hey, yeah, we're occasionally mysterious. I'll give you that. Don't even. Sorry, 1 more second. I found 1 more page. Oh, what's next? Empire bins. Give me a dimension. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. For some reason, I can't find that. I would have swore it was on our website. And it is not.
Not on the website.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm gonna have to ask.
I would think that that's a pretty significant, something that we'd all like to know. So if you could put it on the website.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, that's not the answer. Okay, sorry. Nope. I got no. Do not say off the top of my head. I don't know how big these things are. Okay, sorry about that. I'll find that answer. We'll write that down. No problem.
Maybe Marissa, if you don't mind, if you could share that information when you have it with John.
Yes.
And Gail, if you want to leave your email address, then maybe, or if you want to reach out to John later, then he can provide you that information.
Just one confirmation. Is it 793 gallons it can store in there, right? Is that, or, okay, I'm sorry. Oh, am I right? Or I don't know.
No, I don't know off the top of my head how big the bins are.
Okay, because I found at least a source online referring to it. I'll post it in chat.
Okay. I'm going to
Thank you.
also double check. But yes, that's great that we have something to go by. But John, I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
For the life of me, I don't know.
So maybe Gail, then you can reach out to John tomorrow or day after so that he can send you those details.
John,
Yeah.
how do I reach you, John? I'm with this East 72nd Street Neighborhood Association. How do I reach you?
My email is Kraus, Kraus, at CB8M.com.
At CEM.com.
CB8M.com. You can contact me. Oh,
Try it again.
Kraus, Kraus, at CB8M.com. I can also email to you if you prefer as well.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
And John, you can maybe leave your email address in the chat so that if anyone else also wants the same answer, then they can reach out to you. All right, sounds great. So I think Sanober Khan has a question as well.
Hi, thank you, Marissa, for sharing that information with us. I was just wondering if you can share you said that you have already placed a few bins in Brooklyn, correct?
At schools in Brooklyn.
At schools. Oh, so do you think you can share, so it's inside the schools or outside? Because if I was wondering if you can share the location with us, maybe we can kind of take a look at what they look like, how big they are.
It's outside the school.
Uh-huh.
Outside the school, and give me 1 second because it's in my email. And now the question is, what was the name? Oh wait, it's Brooklyn. Sorry, this I think I can get for you. If I can read my email. Haha. It's at a few places. Let me also send this to John because it's in a very big spreadsheet. I will send this to John tomorrow.
Thank you.
And just a few of those schools in Brooklyn. So when you feel like hopping on down there, the schools. Yep, I can do that. No problem.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
And again, John's email address is in the chat. So if you want to take it from there, and then reach out to him in a couple of days, maybe day after, because he would have the details from Marissa tomorrow. With that, if anyone else has any questions, any other questions for Marissa? For Marissa or even for Kristen, like any other questions, then please feel free to ask. Do we still have Dylan on the call, or did we just lose him?
He left. I don't know.
He left. Okay, because I wanted to ask him if he wanted to say anything on behalf of our assembly member Rebecca Seawright. Maybe he'll rejoin. But the main thing is that he was here present and he was able to hear both the presentations by Marissa and Kristen. With that, I think that if there are any questions, please free to ask. Otherwise, I would like to say on behalf of Edison and I, we want to just express our gratitude and thanks to both Kristen and Marissa for joining us today and giving us all this information about the work that is being done by Beyond Plastic, very important work that is being done. And Marissa, thank you for sharing the details about the process, where we stand for Community Board 8, where we stand for other areas as far as containerization is concerned, and also giving us the details. So kind of knowing what to expect in the future, and all, of course, which is going to benefit all of us. With that, Edison, can I request you if you can close the evening? Do you want to say like a word or two? Or
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Oh, and thank you so much, everyone, for being here today.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a good evening. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you.